Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Plan Commission Work Session of February 4th, 2026. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Becker is absent. Mr. Parker?
You here?
I'm here, sorry.
Mr. Carnahan?
Here.
Mr. Swift?
Here.
Mr. Hunley?
Here.
Mr. Wolkeny?
Here.
Mr. Kapora?
Present.
Mr. Sherry?
Here.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Mr. Eldridge? Mr. Kubiak? Ms. Hyduk is present.
Okay, old business. M&L Adventures LLC rezone preliminary plat site plan petitioner this law 12632 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Owner M&L Adventures LLC, care of this law 12632 Wicker Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana, vicinity of 10715 West 133rd Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting a rezone from B3 to B2 of the property, preliminary plat and site plan approval for a one-lot subdivision. Good evening.
Good evening. Nathan Viss here on behalf of M&L's Adventure. With me is Ryan Turenga from Turenga Engineering. Good to be with you guys this evening. We are pushing ahead, seeking approval so that we can move forward in 2 weeks with our public meeting for rezone from B3 to B2, preliminary site plan, or preliminary plat and site plan approval. Back on January 20, Ryan submitted proposed finals to Luke. There was a lot to work through there. I think this past Monday, Luke was able to amalgamate a reply. There are a couple minor items that are yet to be worked through, but the team is currently working through them. I spoke with Luke this morning, and we believe that these are accomplishable here in the next 2 weeks. The major thing, not major, but we needed to do it in order to handle the water that's both on site and the water that congregates in this area because of adjacent properties, is you've got a Tract 1 and Tract 2 exhibit in front of you. My client's in the process. Greg, you have one?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. We're in the process of acquiring that piece that's going to be known as Tract 2. I've highlighted it on the sheet in front of you in orange. The purpose of that sheet, or that parcel that's going to be added into this development, is a large drainage swale that's going to help with the runoff from the proposed pond. It can then be measured into this runoff swale and measure it then to the runoff that's adjacent onto the railway and then down further south. So in doing all the calculations, rather than take up additional land usage on the original design, it made more sense to acquire this small parcel, attach this into the development, and it allows for a more gradual runoff swale to the south. So I know I had already published based upon the original site plan, spoke with Mr. Austin, requested of staff, and we're going to propose a new amended that has the new updated legal description to include this parcel for the proposed public hearing in 2 weeks. But that's the major addition, I guess, from a land geographical standpoint. The location of the building, site plan from everything else that's been submitted to you previously has not changed substantially at all. Luke?
The orange lines on here is east of the worn-off property?
Yes, so it's a split off of the existing worn-off property, correct?
Okay.
Yep.
That's not that piece next to the railroad tracks, is it?
I wish it
nobody
was,
owns?
but it's not. No, we'll deal with the unknown land at a later date.
It's farther south.
Yeah. The land that's unknown there, we would have needed an easement across Mr. Warren's property, which we could have received, but just not enough time to deal with that unknown owned piece.
Is this just is there going to be some retention built into this?
Ryan?
Well, it's swales, small, it might act as detention for high flow times, but it collects all the runoff that comes from the south of the site that's flowing what used to flow onto the site is now being diverted along the southern property line over to this area. That's only a small portion of the offside area though. Most of the offside drainage is going to the west side where there's a swale. And all of that is being released to the southern area that then connects to the release point.
Okay, where's the release point?
So there is some existing pavement on the property.
Is it 130, is this 133rd lane? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
As a rule, the water runs south there.
yes.
Right.
On the property that we're taking, there is an existing storage shed. Just to the west of that is kind of the edge of the pavement that is connected to 133rd Lane.
Mhm.
And at the end of that is a flared end section that is remaining where it is and is staying the same. And that is the release point for generally the entire area. Any of the off-site and anything that would collect on the existing site eventually overflows to this flared end section that then connects into the storm sewers that go south.
So you're able to increase the volume of water getting off the site heading south?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And
That-
it runs along the railroad tracks?
Yes.
And the industrial park, it's all dialed in to handle all that?
Yes, yeah, there's not gonna be any change to the existing flared end section, so whatever it's handling now is the same that it'll be handled now.
You're speeding up the water getting through there, right? With this
There's
swale?
there's a detention basin on the site up near the building, which is, that is really where the main control for the increase
For our
in pervious
entire
area
Okay.
that they're adding is further north of here in that separate
So this
basin.
this new part here is only to take surface water that's already running that way?
Correct. There's a swale there now, it's just not as well defined.
Okay.
And obviously that's downstream of the detention that they're putting in. And, you know, really, it's not meant to hold water, more or less to convey water more than anything.
Well, it gets pretty flat south of there before it gets to the
And we have a
industrial
culvert,
park.
we have a culvert at the, south end of 133rd Lane that gets, plugged up, and we've had to go out there and unplug that, so I don't know if this will increase any water going to that or not.
That's the flared end section you were referring to?
Yes.
Well, one of the reasons why this was so challenging from a drainage standpoint is because this whole area is a bowl. And so what they had to do is they had to provide a lot more volume than they normally would because they have to recoup what they're filling in of that bowl and make sure that they're not making things worse.
All I know is two smart engineers put their heads together and, we agreed that acquiring this piece to create a better swale made sense not only for this property to be developed, but for the area in general, so that is good.
Do you have anything else that would hold us up next week, or?
There's a handful of minor things, but I don't think it's anything that couldn't be worked out. I think, you know, maybe I'm getting my submittals confused. Maybe that was the other one that you submitted just before the plan commission today.
For this one, most of them were just, there are some minor details that need to be updated with some of the changes to the stormwater calculation. The only other big ones were, the water service that still needs to be discussed, especially since, Luke is saying that, a 4-inch service for the building would be best, but we're not even sure if the existing service line that is tapped to this site is 4 inches. So we need to discuss with him about the water service and how to be prepared, or how to prepare for the building, especially given, we know that Starbucks wants a 1.5 inch of their own, and then our ideal is to have a 2-inch as well going for the rest of the building. That would be split inside the building. But it's something that we're working on, but it's really the last thing that still needs to be discussed. I believe the drainage has been mostly taken care of, and it's just cleaning up some of the details in order to make sure they match the stormwater calculations exactly.
Yeah, and to clarify that whole water service thing, we were dealing with the drainage for so long. You know, I roped in, you know, Tim's water guys we had almost the exact same situation, although this is basically a larger version of this, at the Jets Wing Stop, which is just down the block. So we've dealt with these sort of very same issues, just that was a 2-tenant building rather than 7. So we kind of have a handle on what, you know, needs to be done. It's just, again, no, it's something that could be worked out.
Yep. There's no tap there, but there is no tap, so you have to tap the main, and that's if you need a 2-inch and an 1.5 inch, that's why the recommendation is a 4-inch tap with a meter room to split off what you need for each unit.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get it
Because there is
worked out.
not, you know, there is
There
currently
isn't
nothing,
one missing. Okay.
so that's kind of after they looked at it and seeing that you needed a 2-inch and an 1.5 inch, you know, obviously you could run a 2-inch line and then take a 2-inch and an 1.5 inch off of it, or you wouldn't have enough water, so that was why the recommendation of the 4-inch was made, and maybe 3 inches enough for
Yeah,
your current needs, but essentially you need one tap, or you need several taps for each unit, you know, so that's kind of.
so we'll get on the horn with you guys next
Quite
week.
often now with the multi-use buildings, so it's kind of.
Yep,
Well, since there's no tap, there's no question about what needs to be there, right?
Correct, so you can either do a separate tap for each unit, or they can do, you know, so again, it's just gonna be worked out, and we're kind of, unfortunately with us now getting a bunch of these multi-tenant buildings, we're kind of learning the options and what the best case is also, because we don't have a lot of them
Well-
as of now.
There was no way to know ahead of time.
right,
You're guessing all the time.
yep. Okay, yeah, no, we didn't know, it's an opportunity to resolve, and we'll get it resolved here in the next 10 days,
Yeah.
so. Yep,
All right, when, on this, preliminary plat, approval you're looking for, site plan approval, will the sign have anything to do with that approval, or is the signage, something down the road?
signage is separate, and that's in front of the, BZA.
Okay, I think it's important, because this is all coming to the plan commission, that the plan commission knows what's happening at the BZA. And tomorrow, the BZA is gonna have to act upon what's before it on this matter.
Mhm.
So I would like to have just a little discussion now, so that
Next week.
the members sitting here, just Pete and I are the only ones on the BZA.
Following Thursday.
Pardon?
It's next-
Following
next week, John.
Thursday, not tomorrow.
2/3.
Oh, yeah, well, we can still talk about it then. Yeah, thank you.
John, I have a quick question.
Yes,
Nathan, we're going to receive for scrutiny and review and consideration the primary plat or preliminary plat consistent with the details of our subdivision ordinance and the site plan consistent with our zoning ordinance?
Correct, yeah, that's what's been submitted to Luke as of a couple of weeks ago, and then we'll get it updated here with the final changes.
Want to make sure on the record that we know we're getting distinct information for distinct applications.
Mhm.
Although they're married, and we've changed from a PUD to this, it's a zone change for the right zoning and the development activities. It'll pick up nearly everything you've talked about, I think.
Right,
Okay.
So, Mr. President, so hypothetically, we're calling it a 7-unit building. If tomorrow, hypothetically, the BZA said, yeah, you can have 9, we say yes to 7, they say 9, and we're approving something we really don't know anything about. That's your point?
pretty much,
Okay.
very much.
Right.
Yeah,
There would likely be a recommendation that any action taken at the BZA be contingent upon the Plan Commission actions on both the preliminary plat and the site plan, so that they interweave with each other. I think that Nathan anticipates that.
yeah, it's up to this body how they wanna make approvals.
the BZA stuff was approved other than the sign, correct?
Right,
Just the parking in the front yard.
Right.
Right, all of those things were done, so the units of the building, I mean, the only outstanding thing left at the BZA is the sign.
right,
Correct. So everything else, the parking and, all that stuff has been approved and done. Right, right.
Just so-
But I want the members
Oh, yeah.
who
No,
are
I
on
get
the
it, but I
BZA
just,
to be aware of what you are asking for. So will you tell us what you're asking for signage on that property?
Yeah, so what's before the BZA is, and I submitted an updated request last week, and I don't have that file with me. Cheryl, perhaps,
No, I
don't have
don't
it.
with me right now.
What we were requesting is a building variance to have an off-site electronic sign that is facing two ways. Preliminarily, we were asking for a variance of 30 feet in height, and the size of the sign was
12 by 24.
12 by 24. Last week, I think Wednesday or Thursday, submitted an amendment to that. We've talked to our sign experts as to what's a reasonable diminishment of the sign to still make it marketable, and they've indicated that diminishing it down to 20 by 10 with a maximum height of 25 feet is an allowable, in their opinion, would be a good diminishment to make it smaller. So the amendment for a proposed electronic sign that's going to be before the BZA is a billboard sign that is no higher than 25 feet high, no more than 20 feet wide, and no more than 10 feet tall. And then below that, there were some suggestions at the BZA level that perhaps, then rather than having all up to 7, right, tenants that would go up the pedestal sign, they drew us an outline that would have them side by side, and that allows us to shrink it from the 30 feet down to 25 feet.
This would be, end up a monument sign.
Well, what he's proposing, the way I understand it, if I interrupt you for a minute, is a monument sign 18 foot tall. Code, ordinance says 6 foot. And then, if I'm remembering this correctly, with a pole sign going to the middle of the monument,
Yep.
straight up. So in essence, you're asking for two signs. You're asking for a pole sign, and you're asking for a monument sign. And the monument sign was going to be 72 square feet, which would put that 12 square feet over.
Yes, and now that's slightly shrunk down because we're able to shrink it a little bit. And then we've also shrunk the height down from 30 down to 25, so we've decreased that 5 feet overall.
Right.
Have you seen a picture of this?
No, they're supposed to bring us a 3D
Yeah, that's, it
picture or
was submitted
something
last week.
at the
There was
BZA.
also some confusion with everything with this sign, because the sign on the top, the 10 by 20 sign, is an off-premise sign. It's not the sign for the
It's a separate business.
It's a separate
an
business,
advertised-
is how I would see it. I'm not, I don't like the billboard idea. I'm okay with the monument sign, but it's a billboard at the end of the day.
No, that's,
So that's what we're kind of clarifying now, because it was started out a long time ago as
right.
just a sign, and it wasn't realized by anybody that this was it's not just for the plaza.
Well, a separate business was discussed in this room, and I haven't heard it brought up anymore. And now I'm finding out about
The sign, you mean, right, and
the message sign, yes.
And I don't know where that all got to, but it got misconstrued early on that sign variance was just a sign for the building, but it wasn't an off-premise sign, so now that's getting straightened out in what's happening now.
So is it a separate business?
Well, yeah.
It's a billboard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an off-premise site. And that was the conversation that
And
Mr.
the
Kubiak
BZA
and I
is going to make a decision on whether or not it's an additional business or not? Who's gonna make that decision?
I don't guess that's I don't know that we would say it's an additional business, but it'll be an additional use for sure.
Well, it's off-site, and it's a billboard.
It's an off-site,
It gets
off-premise
leased, it
sign.
gets leased as a billboard. It's a billboard, it's a separate business.
Like-
Every one of those on the side of the highway generate revenue. If it generates revenue, it's a business.
Well, so you're saying whether it's 7 units or 8 units, or what are you saying?
I don't like the billboard at all. I don't like the billboard in town. It just,
Well, I mean, I understand that, that aside, right now it's a multi-unit, multi-tenant building, so if the billboard is considered the 8th unit, or, I guess just for clarity, what everybody is thinking here, but.
well,
I'm looking at
I don't
it
know,
as a
Tim, I don't know by definition what it is, but it is separate from the building use, and it generates revenue, so I would call it a business. Dave, what would you call it? Have you seen this before?
I have, and you're right. If revenue's generated, that makes the definition hold.
So instead of 7 units, it's 8 businesses instead of 7.
Well, there's
No, 7 businesses in the building.
there's up to 7 businesses in the building.
Right. And the eighth would be the billboard.
would be a billboard. But now, see, what my question, which I'm gonna pose at the BZA, is according to the ordinance, they can have monument sign or pole sign, correct? One or the other, correct?
Correct.
Hello, anybody hear me?
Correct.
You said correct.
Yeah,
You said
okay,
correct.
sorry. All right, so now, what they have to decide is, do they want a monument sign or a pole sign? So what they, or a billboard, okay? Now, if they choose the monument sign with up to 7 slots on it, but they want it 18-foot high, an 18-foot high monument sign is gonna be higher than the building. This is a one-story building.
Correct.
So what's the purpose, what's the hardship if it has to drop down to the ordinance of 6 foot?
Right, well, I think.
Those are questions I'm gonna be asking at the BZA.
I guess I mean, looking at the proposal, I'm assuming that the proposed design was incorporating the building signs into the billboard sign just for aesthetics and clean look. I mean, it's basically, I mean, it was a nice looking, instead of having 2 separate things there, it kind of tied it all together.
Right, that was
Which I think
the
was
purpose.
the goal, but
Yeah.
I get what you're asking, though, I understand.
I get what you're trying to say,
The
but
pole part and the,
what's the clean look about these, illuminated billboard signs
Well,
that, I mean, they're just,
I'm saying if you think of a billboard over here and you think of a sign over here, like, it was presented as trying to make a clean look, which, I mean, if you don't like a billboard, no matter what you do with it, it's not gonna be a clean look.
well, I mean, they're all over the highway and that's one thing, but this is, I mean, it's in the main entrance to the town of Cedar Lake. We're gonna slap a billboard up there, one of those electronic ones with all the loud stuff that goes on with that. I mean, it just makes the place look tacky.
And that, also in the proposal, they were offering to give the town 10% of the screen time, like one message for the town and whatever. But yeah, again, that's your guys' decision, but it needs to be advertised properly. And if you guys want it to be, unfortunately, our ordinance now does not matter if there's 8 businesses or 10 businesses in that building. So it's a business property, it's in the zoning, so I just wanna make sure that whenever we straighten out the off-premise sign, that we're all on the same page, that's all. That's what I'm
Hang on,
asking the question.
what do you?
The billboard doesn't make any difference to me, I'm just trying to make sure that we're all on the same page while we're discussing.
Cheryl, you see Chet's online?
If they propose 7 businesses in the building, then it's 7 businesses,
No more than 7.
no more than 7. What were you talking about? It doesn't matter how many businesses. You lost me.
If you read the ordinance on these buildings now, there's not a limit to the amount of businesses.
Okay, but the gentleman's proposing no more than 7. So he's held to no more than 7.
If it's approved with a number though, then it holds beyond the
Yeah.
ordinance, correct?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's 7 units, so I guess how do you wanna see the 8th use defined?
The owner determined the number of units.
So, I
We
guess,
didn't, they said they were gonna have up to
Number of
7.
units aside, how do you wanna see the 8th
Yeah,
use?
so I don't wanna argue that. I just wanna be sure that the plan commission here is aware of what the signage is that is being requested. They're gonna have that signage, possibly 2, the pole and the monument sign. And whether they're combined or not, that, the staff to decide what it's gonna be. Plus, they're gonna have the signage on the buildings. Now, my question is, does Starbucks have any special requirements for signage?
they have indicated they really, really like what we've proposed in terms of.
Well, I'm sure they do, but
Yeah.
that's not was my question.
Right.
Do they have any special requirements?
The Culvers did, Taco Bell did.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had it in the past.
Yes. And if they do, we need to know that before we make any decisions, either here or at the BZA.
Yeah, Starbucks has indicated to us that they want the very top of the sign, and as much signage and visibility as possible, is what they've indicated to my client. That's what he represented 2 weeks ago. We were here in front of the BZA.
Well, I didn't hear that part, but there's a lot I don't hear, so.
No, there was a lot that went on.
Yeah.
Just for clarity to me, the billboard and the monument sign have to go to the BZA for approval? Both?
They do. So, in what I discussed with Mr. Kubiak 2 weeks ago, what we realized, the initial information that I was given was wrong. So technically, there can be on any site what's called an off-site sign. And that's technically what this billboard would be on this particular lot. So any lot, commercial lot can have a quote, off-site sign, a billboard, but it has to meet specific requirements. It has to be.
That's in our zoning ordinance?
It's in the sign section.
Off-premise sign dictates, tells you, and then the ordinance what that sign can be. But it doesn't say you can have that sign and a monument sign. It says that if you have a off-premise sign, this is what it is.
An off-premise sign must be approved by the BZA.
Right.
I guess my confusion is that I view the BZA for hardship situations, and not getting a billboard or getting a billboard isn't a hardship situation. And if our sign ordinance says that we can have billboards on every commercial lot,
It doesn't. It's a use, but you have to get it approved. I mean,
Yeah. Mr. Parker, there's requirements, like for example, one of the requirements is that it can't be closer than 600 feet from a residential structure is one of the, requirements. It can't be larger than, I think, 300 square feet. So one of the reasons we're before the BZA is because we're looking for.
I'm gonna use one of Tim's phrases, I just don't want the place to start looking like Pigeon Forge.
No,
You know what I mean?
Or Las Vegas.
Understood, and I think what we're trying to grapple with is this is a good way to communicate. You've offered up 10% to the town, shrunk the size so that's commensurate with other electronic signs that are in that stretch. So I think we've narrowed it so that doesn't look like Pigeon Forge, to use your quote.
It's Tim's quote, I just borrowed it.
But that's the proposal that's before the BZA. We remodified and resubmitted it last week and shrunk it down with proposed descriptions and pictures. That's all
Well,
part of the packet.
I just want you to be aware of where my thoughts are going. And Pete and I are on the BZA, and we're the only ones from the Plan Commission that are on there.
I guess the question still lies with the eighth use. Is that something that he adds on here at the Plan Commission to approve? I mean.
It would have to be tied to that sign.
I mean.
That's my feeling.
Understood, but.
There's seven, only, only.
If that sign
If
gets
the sign's
If the
approved.
sign gets approved, yeah. I'm gonna go down another rabbit hole, Mr. Viss. I'm going.
Knock yourself out.
You mentioned Starbucks and their standards. We've never seen a traffic study for this property related to 133rd and leaving town hypothetically to work, stopping at Starbucks, going back on 133rd and heading west. We know what happens at the school 5 days a week in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very busy road in the morning. We got trucks offloading late in the morning in the middle lane. Saturday evening, I get stopped southbound on 41 because somebody's turning into Taco Bell. Yes, I know those things were approved here. What is your thoughts, Luke, on this traffic? Mr. Tringo, you ever done a traffic study on a parking area this big? I know you have a lot of room to stack cars. Starbucks is on the west end, which was discussed, right? They have plenty of room to loop around and leave.
I thought Starbucks was on the east end.
I don't...
Starbucks, sorry, east end.
East end, so there's less room to stack cars to get out to 133rd.
No,
More.
On the east end?
more.
East
Should be an
End's
L
by the
shape.
railroad tracks.
East end's by the railroad tracks.
Right.
Yeah,
I thought you could stack cars all the way around the south end of the building.
we can. So you're pulling in directly across from the old bicycle shop.
Yeah.
You can stack all the way up to the back side of the building, and then all the way on that side and that side.
Oh, so the pickup is on the east side?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot, but there's a lot of traffic.
That's a legitimate point you bring up though, because
I mean, in 2 or 3 hours a day, nobody from Starbucks is gonna be stopping cars and letting everybody leave like they do at school. But it's a very, very busy stretch of road for several hours a day, and I'm just kinda thinking at some of the other decisions that were made, Domino's and the Chamber parking lot turning into another roundabout for the Domino's cars.
Saw it today.
Yeah. Two of us saw it tonight at the same time.
Has anybody been to the new Seven Brew in Crown Point? I don't know what the big draw to that place is, but the cars are lined up out of the parking lot, out of the drive-through, all the way down the street. You can't even get into another business on the weekend, the way that was set up. They might have great coffee, but what he's talking about with things like Starbucks and these coffee places that get real popular can be a real deal.
I think one of the things that we built into the design, Luke, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's about an additional 10 car lengths for stacking beyond what the Starbucks requirements were for the size of this location. So that's designed for their peak time, so there's an additional 10 vehicles before you get to 133rd. So this was all built into the equation for the site, so we more than prepped for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was, when we discussed traffic on this months ago, we had done that math, and obviously that was the big concern, was a Seven Brew situation where you got cars spilling out onto 133rd, and I think there was 20, room for 20 cars around the building, and then I think 10 more if you took it from the edge of the building up to 133rd. So it was a pretty hefty number compared to what we're used to seeing.
Well, I know what the Starbucks looks like up in St. John by Tractor Supply. I know what that looks like at 10:30 on a weekday. It's tough. It's tough.
And we've got about 15 more spaces for stacking than that location has. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring it up because not discussing it and letting it go is, I'm not sure the best idea. Is there a traffic study from 133rd at all, Tim? Something in the past? Something in the file?
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
I know there was some stuff for rail side over there by the middle school, but
Tim, we don't have, engineering from the widening of the road?
Didn't Culver's do one? They didn't?
No.
Yeah, we have that, I mean, we have engineering, but I don't think we have any, I mean, if there was something done
I would've
for
thought
that-
Culver's would have, given the, difficulties in finding the proper safe access, ingress, egress into that property.
So your concerns were stacking the other cars on
Leave
property?
it,
On the property.
there's a lot of room to stack cars, I get
On the
it.
property,
On the
yeah.
property, on the property.
That was what your concern was.
I think
Or
it's,
my
I was concerned with street also.
the relationship between the two, yes.
My concern is by, railroad tracks.
Well, I mean, the kids that drive from Hanover, don't worry about that, Chuck. I'm being facetious.
What do you mean by the railroad tracks? Mean it's stacking up over the tracks or on both sides of it or what?
Especially when they're coming out past, when they're making a left-hand turn by the railroad tracks.
Is there, to turn into the property, you mean?
no, to come out.
Coming in or coming out.
Is there a turn lane there?
There's a
Yes.
middle lane.
There's a middle lane, yeah, okay, all right.
There is a middle lane.
That's one of the added benefits here is you've got the safety of that turn lane right there too.
Well, it's a turn lane, not an acceleration lane.
Right.
That's how you drive, I guess.
This is one of the better site plans that we've seen for stacking cars, though. So.
It is, I just wanted to mention it. I have nothing else.
Anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, I want to go back to the original discussion. The house that sits next to where this is going in and the ball fields behind it, how is that runoff going to affect them or not affect them? In other words, potential future flooding?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is going to ameliorate what has been a long-standing problem. If you were to walk back there right now, you would see about a 8-inch culvert that's buried, and there's an open swale and another 8-inch culvert that works its way around Mr. Warnoff's property towards the distribution point that Mr. Terenga just identified. By us acquiring this property, we don't have to worry about an easement This allows us to properly swale the slope back runoff from both my client's property, some adjacent property, to collectively, gradually bring it towards the railroad tracks.
It's gonna get built into the project on the adjacent
Yep.
parcel that is owned by the same entity.
Yep, more cost for my client, but a better solution for that entire bowl area.
And it looks like there's a little bit of that tree line that goes into that property. Is that going away
It
with
will.
this, or does that stay with their?
Part of that is on the backside of Mr. Warnoff's property will stay, but if you look, it's real minor. But right there is where part of that swale is gonna start, that little L shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the buildings, your orange lines here, all the buildings that are there, all that's gonna be gone?
I don't know if my client's planning on removing that garage or not.
I thought he was,
Oh, the existing one that's there now,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, there's a metal frame garage there, right?
Correct.
Metal, yeah.
Yeah, the original, yeah, that's going by the wayside,
That's
correct.
going away too.
Yep.
Talking about the pole barn, right?
Well, the one Greg used for a garage, yeah.
Yeah,
It's yellow.
South,
yeah.
So if anybody has any long-standing memories of hanging out there, then maybe we can have one last party before we tear it down, but,
I'm too old to have long-term memories.
okay.
Short-term's a little
Greg
problem.
Parker died there, they brought him back.
Greg Warnoff, don't say
Yeah,
Greg Parker
Greg,
died.
Greg
All
Warner.
right, so any minor, engineering problems will be taken care of by, or shouldn't stop us from doing anything?
I don't think so. I think we should be good.
Okay. Do we have any other problems? We won't be discussing, or approving any signage at, the next, meeting.
I'd still like to know how you guys want the 8th use that you brought up handled, just sort of for clarity.
To be designated for the sign only. That's what I'm thinking. The 8th use. If there's an 8th
Oh.
use.
Dave, what do you think?
I've been wondering how Tim's gonna define this since this meeting started. I don't know that there's 7 or 8, and we're assigning a number to the use to a sign, which is quite unusual. I'm not certain I ever heard that here before. So if you
I'm
want
not
to,
worried about an 8th use,
Well, if you wanna
property, I just
call
want
it
to
As long
make
as
sure.
it's for the sign.
I've never heard of it before.
Yes,
That's Tim's point.
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying,
as long
I've
as
never
it's for
heard
the
it here.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had a proposed billboard before in town.
No. We've
Probably up
we've
on
had
Route 41
renovation
you
of billboards.
Yeah, the one right in between Dairy Queen and Sportsman's Den was through.
It was
That's-
renovated.
That's a
It was
delightful,
renovated,
It was already there.
yeah,
that's a delightful example
yeah,
of what we don't want.
yeah,
I don't want.
yeah.
So what we're saying is it's part of the building property then, so it's not a separate entity that can't be sold off at any point in time.
That would appear to be the case.
Right.
And on the actual, I mean, the sign for the billboard, or for the building is proposed to be a part of it, so.
Correct.
I just want to make sure that what we're approving, if we approve 2 signs, fine, I just want to make sure everybody's in agreement and it falls in with the ordinances and whatever else that we have to follow. I just don't want, any problems from,
Well, you could call it out on the site plan in addition to the BZA approval.
And I really
Sure.
feel that the building, the sign for the property and the off-premise sign are gonna be split into 2 separate, even though they're proposed as one unit, they're 2 separate things, and they're gonna need to be presented as such. An off-premise sign and the sign for the building.
Correct.
You mean at the BZA?
Yes, that's what we're working on clarifying now.
So, do you have all this information, Luke? You have everything? I mean, we got 2 weeks to... Dave, have you red-penned any of this?
Not yet. And there's very little really red pen on this. This is a zone change for the primary plat.
Okay.
That's why I asked
Maximum
for
set-
it, and
maximum
you'll
set-
get a separate distinct site plan instrument, preliminary plat instrument.
Maximum
can
7
call this
businesses,
out.
et cetera, et cetera.
Well, there'll need to be some cross-references. Now we're talking about the sign and how to identify it. That'll have to be identified on the preliminary plat. So you're gonna have, integrated tools here on the final approval, if there is an approval, as presented.
Well, okay, if there's no other discussion,
See
then
what the
we'll see
BZA
how
does,
it
go
shakes
from
out
there.
in 2 weeks.
See you then.
Okay.
Thanks.
Alrighty.
Number 2, Diamond Tour V-Site Plan Review, petitioner Katie Harms, 120 Mountain Avenue, Springfield, New Jersey. Owner Town of Cedar Lake, 7408 Constitution Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 13960 Moore Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is seeking an update site plan review for a cell phone tower. Good evening.
Evening. It's good to see you guys again. So last time I was here, you guys had asked us to do a full paving of the road.
We need your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Katie Harms, Diamond Communications. Address is 120 Mountain Avenue, Springfield, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, last time I was here, it was at I believe the second reading for the working session. We had discussed you guys wanted us to add a paving of the entire access road, and then you wanted us to concrete in the lease space. I reviewed it with my team, came back with some concerns, brought them back to Mr. Aldridge and Mr. Kubiak, that concreting in the lease space causes issues for any future tenant. So when we build the compound, right, you've got all underground utilities, you've got power coming in, fiber. Anytime you add an additional carrier, you're going to have to tear up that concrete. I know your biggest concern was the water runoff, weeding, all that stuff. So we kind of came up with a design, and I actually have my construction manager on the call to help with, weed management and runoff, as you can see in the new plans.
Can there be some conduit put in the concrete to add more carriers later? Just empty
Sleeves?
conduit tube?
Like if we had the compound concreted in, adding it, I guess we could, but we're not gonna know what they need at this time when they're coming in. Jamie, do you want to add to that?
I have a question. I couldn't hear what Greg said, but why couldn't you put a conduit going all the way through? So wherever carriers wants to put their wires through, why couldn't they do that?
Same question.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
same
what Greg
question.
said.
So, Jamie, are you able to comment on that?
Yes, each carrier has different requirements that we wouldn't know of. The other issue is each carrier has requirements for grounding, which they would be tearing up the entire area of concrete so they could put their grounding in on top of that. So each space that they would take would, naturally, we couldn't foresee what they wanted in each of the areas.
How many go ahead, Chuck.
Why couldn't you put 3 to 4 different, conduit, pipes going all the way through, so no one has to tear up that property? And we wanted, concrete or pavement or something, so you don't have to sit there and spray chemicals by our well.
Again, with requiring, putting stuff in the ground free, each carrier does have a different setup. So the biggest issue that it's not just the conduit for power and telco, it's also the grounding grids and rings that they're gonna come in and wanna put in specific for their equipment. Some of them may just drop one ground ring, some of them may do a very elaborate setup that we wouldn't be able to, plan for at the beginning. Plus, when they come in, they would be tearing up that concrete or asphalt so that they could actually put their ground rings in. That would be the big one.
So what's the maximum number of carriers?
4, so that it's built for 4 carriers.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
And the maximum size pipe they would need is what?
Jamie?
Again, that would all vary. Some people are in with 2-inch conduits, some go down to 1.5. some go up to 4 inch, that's, you're only speaking for the actual power that's coming out.
So put 4 6s in it and be done, and do a common grounding bus.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, each carrier has a separate type of a grounding ring that they want. They don't normally, they will tie into our ground ring, which we will put in around for our tower and for the power, but then they all have their own specifications on what they need for the grounding for each carrier's design and their specifications from their corporate offices and engineering. We don't control their grounding.
How many carriers are gonna be on this tower when you open it up, when it's completed?
So we have one for right now,
Just one?
just one right now.
Potential for 3 more.
Understood.
What is the proposed weed barrier product?
Jamie, did you hear that?
It is not necessarily a product, it is we have in other places that have this sort of an issue. We create basically a riprap trench around the site. This is what we're have engineered here, so that we can catch any runoff from any of the, when they spray the site, if there is any runoff, that it was going straight onto the property, you can go into the riprap trench.
I think the problem here is just the spray, period. You know, we can't allow any weeds to be sprayed next to a public well, so that's the reason. I mean, the spraying is absolutely off the table, so we don't, I mean, necessarily, we're not worried about the runoff of the spray going through the riprap, or, I mean, I got a concern of where does the ditch that's proposed around the perimeter of the building outlet to? I mean, you show a 1 foot deep trough all the way around with no outlet. So is that gonna be a moat, or, I guess I can appreciate that you're doing it to try to keep the runoff from the weeds, but we can't allow the weed spray at all. That was kind of the whole point of how we got to the concrete in the past.
The concrete can have, I mean, you could form holes in it for grounding around the base of the tower. You know, like a 2x2 square that doesn't get concrete, maybe just has gravel in it, and run the conduit through the concrete, and I'm sure that would outfit whatever anybody's gonna put in there, especially if you put in like a 6 or 8 inch conduit into concrete. I mean, I get it, but it's a public well site.
There is no weed spraying at all, so.
So I don't understand, why can't they put, like Greg, you said, 4 to 6 inch or 8 inch, put the conduit in there, and when they, as carriers come, they can put their wires through there and be done.
That probably boils down to an expense, and we're probably at a standoff here because of it, but long story short, it's a public well site. We have to protect it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's our town's water supply.
Is there an option if we do, we're not spraying, but we have it managed a couple times a year without spraying? And have that in an agreement with the town?
I don't know how you police that, but, I mean,
You could fine us. I mean, if there would, you know, we could build that into an agreement and manage the maintenance of it a couple times a year to make sure that there's nothing overgrowing.
As long as it's a written agreement, I mean, I think that it could be maintained. I mean, I guess my question to Jamie is that on where you guys got the moat drawn around, it says proposed 50 by 50 by 6 foot high fenced compound area, weed barrier to be installed across the entire compound. That's on your sketch. So what is the weed barrier? I mean, you're saying the riprap around the edge is something to keep the runoff, but what is the weed barrier that is installed?
We install a weed barrier underneath all of our gravel and all our sites to prevent the weeds from growing up from the bottom. So it's just your basic,
Under the stone?
under the stone, yeah.
That was, I guess, my question earlier. I just want to know what was done, and obviously, you know, weeds grow in gravel. just as well as they grow. You know, I mean, it does help. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't help, but I mean, that's the part that we have the problem with is the weeds are gonna grow in the gravel and then we cannot have it
Well,
sprayed. I mean,
and Tim's got, you know, a lot of things to police. Weeds over there is not one of them. I think the concrete pad could be prepped for maximum whatever openings could be left in the slab. Like Greg was mentioning, pipe could be put in that was more than ample.
Is there an option of, if we can't get past the concrete, is there an option to concrete as we go?
In
It's something else
stages?
you'd have to keep track of.
I mean, as long as they maintain and concrete as the carriers are put in, then I would say that's fair. I mean, obviously, we don't want them to be putting it in and ripping it up, but I think that's realistic as long as there's an agreed maintenance, you know, 4 times a year on the spaces that need it until it's full. I don't know, you know, I mean, it could be full in a month and it could be full in, I mean, I'm sure once you build it, they will come, I get it, but.
That's usually the case,
I guess I would say that, I think that's, I hate to see them trying to do something and have to rip it all out, but I think that would be.
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot done with a coring bit and a demolition saw
Right,
too.
You can cut a groove in, you can do anything, but I kinda feel that as long as they agree to maintain it without spraying any chemicals and pave it and concrete it as the carriers are put in, I think that's a fair compromise myself.
And we get 3 carriers, we lose one, get another one. We could not have 4 carriers for a long time. Is there a drop dead date that this would all be concreted? Twilight clause?
You're the planner.
I'm just throwing the option out there. I've already said, the site could be prepped in concrete right now for 4 carriers. Openings in the concrete for whatever grounding arrangement they make. You guys know who your 4 carriers would probably be. You already know that. I mean, you would be building this if you didn't know that. And managing the weeds on the outside mechanically, I think it's a good idea. Everybody can see it all the time. If it starts looking really crummy, then it can be addressed.
Okay.
I'm inclined to go with just all concrete and putting the diameter of, conduit in there. I don't wanna have the weeds because they could go out of business and.
Well, I agree, and we could never have 4 carriers, so the concrete would never be completely done.
Yeah.
Will
That's
all
why I
the
said-
carriers come in from the same side, say from the east, which would be coming off the road? They're all gonna come in at the
Typically
same
through-
spot?
Yeah, so typically through access to utilities easement, that's where they pull the power, but then that power goes to the meter bank, and then it gets divided out within the compound. So there's sections within the lease space, where you've got like a 12 by 20 section that's subleased to the carriers. So each of those subleases have a divide out of their telco and power.
But there's one.
Okay, so if you concrete everything in, but I'm looking at a 19 by 15 area. Oh no, that's to the tower. It says future carrier lease area by others. So if you leave that area, which is, you said how big, 10 by
Usually their little lease space is a 12 by 20.
12 by 20?
Mhm.
So if you concreted everything but those lease areas,
Mhm.
so you would have 4 12 by 20 spots that are not concreted until the carrier comes in and installs it,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
And actually, you can only have 3 of them because you got one that's gonna go up right away.
Mhm.
So you could concrete everything but 3 10 by 20 areas.
Mhm.
Is that a
Mhm.
correct statement?
Yes. We'd probably end up, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'd probably end up doing 2 of them and leave 2 open, because the likelihood of a 4 would be years.
So now we're down to just 2 10 by 20 areas that would be exposed, and have to have some sort of weed control
Yes,
until a carrier comes in.
yes.
And if the 4th carrier never comes in, we have to have some sort of, method of weed control on that, or have it concreted in after a certain amount of time?
Either that or, you know, I work with Dave on putting an amendment in the lease that we signed with you guys on a certain time frame, whether it's, you know, after 10 years, if nobody hops
That's
on,
what-
we fill in everything.
I'm not sure I'm good with 10 years, but.
Well, that's just an example.
Yeah, how many electric services are coming in here? You were mentioning the carrier's electricity.
Mhm.
Is it all coming in under the Blacktop Road?
Jamie?
Yes, you have
yeah.
one service, one main service, either, I believe right now, we're looking at 600 amps that comes with the transformer, and then we would tie it into our H-frame, which is where all the meters will be.
So you're bringing, okay, is that gonna be overhead then?
No, it should be underground, but we're gonna request them
Okay, so it's gonna be underground on property that you're not leasing?
through the utility easement.
We have an access and utility easement built into the lease.
So, okay. And
So
that's-
following
and
that
that's-
path.
And that's where?
So.
Right before the blacktop on the way in?
Do you mind if I show you?
The dotted
Yeah.
line.
So it's coming from here all the way around.
Okay, so it is under property that you're not leasing?
But this is part of our access and utility.
Okay, all right.
It's built into the lease.
Okay.
And the leased piece
So-
of property, even though it says 50 by 50 on the drawing, it's 50 by 90, wasn't that, 80?
Oh, in total?
Right, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
transformer and that driveway is in the space.
So
They're
I'll-
fencing in the 50 by 50, and then they have the access, down that current roadway is where their utilities will come in.
So there's gonna be a transformer out by Morse?
There's a transformer, if you look on the third, I think the fourth page of what you have, or the third page of what you have there, you see the, access gate, and then you see the little place, the transformer's outside the gate there,
Mm-hmm.
to the north of the gate. Proposed Mallard's
Transformer and concrete
transformer.
platform.
So that's where the electric will come into that transformer.
So do my comments work, or are we still fishing for something?
I think it needs to be complete, concrete, in 3 years. What do you have?
No,
If we took the fence, instead of, again, we have a 50 by 50 compound. If we were to shrink our compound down to just throwing these numbers out, say it's a 25 by 50 that we actually fence, and that'd be room enough for our two carriers in our tower, we concreted that up to it, and let them come through, and we would, maintain the rest of the compound with, mowing it through the years, making sure that it was, looking pretty, it wasn't overgrown. Would that be a suitable solution versus trying to
You mean build it for 2 carriers right now, complete?
Yeah, and then expand the fence
and then
later.
expand as we need it?
And that would be expanded complete?
Yeah, when it's fully expanded, that 50 by 50, that would be a complete site.
Okay.
But what he's saying is if you fence in maybe like.
I got you,
yeah,
I got you.
And then expand as we go. That's why it's not fenced in and you don't have the weeds behind the fence.
So you're gonna concrete for two carriers,
And we put conduit
and then,
in for future carriers. Have it all concreted like they proposed before, and have the conduit going into it. Why can't we do that?
Because we don't know the conduit being used, and Jamie, you can step in here. The conduit being used by the carriers may differ, what we put in, they may not like. And it may not work for what they're building at the time.
And every month it changes.
Let's
Yes.
go above and beyond it. Let's go 6 inch.
They may not want a 6-inch conduit.
It seems like, Chuck, that, this company doesn't want to gamble on what they might want. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. But they're proposing now Jamie proposed a half-size site that would be expandable up to the 50 by 50.
They're gonna do it in phases. As carriers come, then they're gonna complete the next phase.
so what I was trying to say was that if you're going to, set it up for concrete for two carriers, what will the, space that's not concreted consist of?
It would just be the grass that's out there right now. It'd just
Okay,
be the land that's out
And
there.
you'll maintain that grass?
I mean, it's not gonna be fenced in. It's gonna be open like it is now.
We're not gonna let a 6-foot grass grow up, are we?
So are you guys gonna come in and mow and just mow around a section that's already open? Yeah?
That's yours, man.
So.
Are you gonna mow mine for me?
We can do that, it just seems a little bit silly if we're having a compound like this that we're gonna expand in the future and we lease it out, right? And the rest of it's grass, you guys are gonna mow up into that point, but not the rest of it. Does that make sense? Like,
If it was
it
a
seems
sticking
weird.
point, we do maintain our sites now, where we have
Mhm.
additional open area outside of our tower area. So to come in and say we're gonna mow it 4 times a year, which is typically what our operations team would do, we would probably then maintain it 4 times a year to cut with a brush hog.
So then now we have a grass ordinance problem.
I mean, I truly think that some kind of clause, where I think to build the site with the 50 by 50 and maintain the weeds without spray. I mean, I don't wanna keep coming back and reinventing the weed, trying to, it just seems like they're leasing this space, that way it's theirs to take care of. There's a fence around it. I don't necessarily think the riprap idea around the perimeter is a necessity. I mean, if we need something for water control on the lower side, which is the south side of the site, makes sense to keep the runoff from just washing down the hill, but the 2 sides, there isn't gonna be, I don't see a necessity for, the side slopes to have any, I mean, for this pad, I don't see what would be I don't know what you think, Luke, but
I'm with you, it's kind of a fairly negligible thing, right?
I mean, if there was any quantity of water, it would be heading south down the hill.
That's true, yeah.
So just the one side.
Makes sense to have something there, but I would also like to see some kind of an outfall for this. It's a nice thing to catch the water, but it needs a discharge also. It's gonna keep that water, but that thing needs to be able to empty after a rain or to have a discharge point.
So that would require, a full irrigation plan?
Well, I think it was just a detail of how that's going to how that water's gonna get out of that area, I mean.
Where would you like the water to run off?
Eventually, when we, run Founder's Creek down into Cedar Lake, that water will go into the lake. Right now, it goes down into the creek. It goes to Lake Dale.
I mean, I'm thinking I'm not the engineer, Luke is, but I mean, it looks to me like you have a 1-foot swale, 1 foot on the bottom and 1 foot deep, that's 7 feet wide. So if that thing is 50 feet long, it's gonna hold how much water? I mean, it needs a 3-inch pipe or a 4-inch pipe to discharge down the hill, and it's done. I mean, there's nothing there that's that large of a quantity, but I just don't wanna see that thing built and it rain and that thing has got 7 foot wide by 1 foot of water sitting in it until it dries out.
So if there's no spraying, is it even necessary? We let the water run naturally, or would you prefer to have that built in? Does that make sense?
That's a
Luke.
Luke question. That's a Luke question.
I'm not sure I follow that.
So, naturally you'd have the compound, the water would come and just absorb into the ground. You guys are asking us to put in that retention almost to hold it, but then we're adding pipe to go down. Is that retention even necessary if we're not gonna be spraying? The whole point of adding that was to help with the water management if we were spraying. But if it's concreted, right, because you got the runoff. But if there's gravel and the retention, it's almost obsolete at that point.
I mean, to me, I think the gravel swale, ditch, whatever we're calling it, is a little bit of overkill, but I don't think there's a need to put in pipes or anything. I still think it's a good idea. But as Tim mentioned, this site drains essentially from north to south, so everything is going to make its way towards the southern property boundary. you put in that little riprap swale and sort of you can
Just on,
sort of-
just on the, just
just
on
sort of
that.
feather it
yeah.
into the lay of the land, and there's no need for a pipe. It's more of like, you're just sort
A
of,
directional,
you're sort of directing the water to where it wants to go today, and
okay.
you're not causing gullies, and, you know, I wouldn't, make it any more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay, so just the one side for that, but do we have a decision on the compound?
I'm okay with building it in phases as long as it's built out at a certain point.
But no decision can be made here tonight. We're just
So,
in a work session.
let's have the
I didn't make
phase,
a motion.
let's have the phases in concrete. Like Tim said, let's stick to the 50 by 50 and do the concrete in phases.
And maintain it within the compound still?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. No
Fine.
poison, no poison,
no poison?
no weed killer,
Nope,
nothing.
okay.
So you want to pour the whole slab first?
No.
Nope.
I want to fence it all in and pour half of it first. And then in 2 years, finish it.
And then as carrier comes in to the next phase?
Well,
Or within 2 years have it done?
yeah, yeah,
Being done, being concreted in?
yes. The compound, as it's called, would be total concrete. I think that gives you guys plenty of time to figure out all the prep work you may
For
want.
2 years to cement it in?
No. I think 2 years to get it complete.
Okay,
My question, what I was getting at was, that's 2 years to figure out how to pre-prep that area
mhm,
if you don't have any carriers. Common ground bus, openings in the concrete where the grounds are gonna go, 6-inch pipe, 8-inch pipe, I mean, you'll need 2.
okay. Jamie, do you see any concerns with that? The 2 years is a little tight. I'm just saying, based on the...
What do you want? About 3?
5?
No. No, that's too much policing Tim has to do for weeds.
Because we don't know when the carriers are gonna come in. We just don't know.
Yeah, well, mowing weeds 4 times a year
Mhm,
is, I mean, the weeds grow
Mhm.
overnight. So now we have violations in our ordinance about weeds and grass.
mhm.
So I don't wanna even get into that. That's,
Chuck is shaking his head.
I think that you guys should maybe think of, you know, obviously if there's you know, they're gonna maintain it 4 times a year, and if they don't, you guys can establish a fine that will be given to them before this 2 weeks, and that way everybody's on the same page. If it's not taken care of, here's your fine. The fine, you know, if they pay the fine, that fine will be enough to send the people in there to get it taken care of and done.
Yeah, I agree. If there's gonna be a fine, it needs to be more than what it's gonna cost to have somebody mow it.
Exactly.
is it safe for somebody to go into the compound with a weed whacker? Is that even safe to do? I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Oh, see, he doesn't have a problem.
Well, but if our people have to do it, do we have a problem with it?
As long as we have an agreement with these people, I mean, it seems to me that this should be simple enough, they know they need to do it. If they don't do it, we're going to be able to do it, and they're going to give us permission to do it, so, I think that as long as all parties involved are on the same page, it should be simple.
There's that devil in the details again.
I'd have a fear that we become their landscaper.
I'd like to ask a question.
Depends on how much.
I think
Okay.
that's why the fine.
Chuck wants to ask a question.
I said okay.
Well, Tim was
Why
talking.
was it before, they were in agreement with us, they were gonna pay the whole thing,
It wasn't.
and now they wanna change everything. I have a problem with that.
Chuck, it wasn't in the agreement that we were gonna pave the whole thing. So the agreement was just based on the lease space.
The access road's still getting paved though,
Yeah,
right?
the access road is still paved, yeah. So that portion that turns off of what your existing road is, and then it turns, that's all paved.
So it's just,
So, this is
Not all the
agreement
way,
we talked
Ford
about
was paved all the way out to
before. In
Morris.
the fenced-in area is gonna be paved for weed, make sure it wasn't gonna get sprayed or anything else. We have a well right there.
Yeah, I agree with Chuck. I was under the original
You
impression
guys agreed
that the
And
access,
all of a sudden now, you turn tail.
So the original conversation we had with you guys, there was no conversation of paving in anything, the first work session. Second work session, when Tim came and asked about the weed control, I had said, we will check to see if that will work for us. I came back immediately to Tim and talked to him about, this isn't gonna work, it's gonna be thrown our budget, it's not gonna work for the carriers, and immediately got back on the agenda.
what I was going to say was that I was under the impression when you left here the last time, that from Morse to the compound was gonna be blacktop. And you're saying that's not what was.
That's the two things that are different today, is the pavement.
Yeah, so to Chuck's point, it was gonna be all blacktop, and now only all the way to Morse. Now it's not gonna be, and the weed control and the.
Do you still have the map, the parcel map? So if you look there, our lease space is the blue lease space. Anything coming in, you guys are giving us an access to, right? So you guys have an existing road there that you utilize for your water treatment. The ordinance states that any new roads being built have to be paved. We are building a new road from that corner to turn the corner and then head south. And we are paving that. But that spot up there at the top where the road hits Morse is not part of the lease space.
I'm sorry, I believe the last time we talked, from inside the fence area, it was supposed to be blacktop. So we didn't have to worry about weed control or about spraying chemicals. Right next door, I think, you said you had no problem with that.
I said I would look into it with my team.
Well, let's go back to the videotape.
That's fine, but.
Let's go back to the minutes.
But blacktop was never discussed in the compound itself.
Hard surface was, yes.
Blacktop was just the drive, the access road.
So Tim, you started to say something before, you said that's the two things that are different. We're not blacktopping the Morse, and what else?
And the concrete inside the compound.
Concrete inside the compound.
Those are the two things I brought to you guys after talking to Katie, and you guys said, sounds like she needs to come back. Told her that, and she's back. Those were the two.
I'm saying what changed was blacktopping the Morse.
Blacktopping to Morse.
Okay.
And that was a 12-foot strip in the original design all the way out. And then also the concrete, they wanted to do weed barrier, and the original plan didn't have the riprap swale around it. They tried, that was their attempt to do something for the spray.
I'm trying to clarify, the blacktop, I was under the same impression Chuck was, that it was gonna be blacktop to Morse, and that was what it was. That was in the original discussion, so yes, Chuck, you're right. That's the way I remember.
That was,
and then
that was something that we kinda threw at Katie, and she said they would do that, and then when she got back to her place, then it kinda got do it and the thing.
Yeah.
Here she is.
So, are you good with concreting in phases 50% and 50%?
Yes.
And you want a timeline of what?
5 years. Jamie, are you good with that?
Yeah.
Concrete in phases?
Yeah.
He's not happy about it.
So Tim, I guess you need to establish a price for us having to do the weeding so it can be included in the agreement, right?
You can always get an estimate at the time and then throw on, some exorbitant.
Oh, no, we're gonna have a number.
That's fine.
We're gonna have a number.
That's fine too.
We're gonna have a number up front.
It'll be exorbitant.
Yeah, I mean, my intent is to have a number that makes them do this, or we're gonna be happy.
That's what I'm asking. So get us a number, would you? Can you get us a number? Or Parks Department or somebody get us a number?
Yes.
Thank you.
But you're good with 4 times a year the maintenance of those weeds 4 times a year, which is our standard.
Yeah, but that's not our ordinance standard.
So what is your ordinance standard for
Was it
that?
9 inches for weeds and grass, in theory?
So if you guys happen to have a extra wet year, we've got to make sure that we're out here more often. Okay.
I think it's just monitoring the site too, if it's kept up pretty good and the weeds are pulled, I mean, if you let weeds start to grow and just weed eat them down, tomorrow they're,
Well,
keep up on it is the best avenue, but. Would you guys, I'm just thinking out loud here since it's a unique situation, but would you guys be okay with them just like putting 2 inches of pea gravel concrete down for the time being, and then that would be easily removed to put the carrier
So the
in,
half
and
concrete, half gravel?
2 inches of like pea gravel concrete or flowable fill or whatever, that weeds aren't gonna grow in, but just 2 inches thick, so basically it's a temporary, I mean,
Well, whatever-
when somebody came in, you could take it out easily and put your stuff in and then pour it properly, but.
whatever they wanna do to save themselves, the
I mean, to me, if I
the
was
grief.
coming back paying for weed control and all that, that 2 inches of concrete in there is
Yeah.
done and you don't have to maintain it, you guys don't have to worry about it, and it's kind of a.
The weed block and the
medium.
pea gravel would probably work well.
I don't see an issue, but I definitely want Jamie to put in his.
Yeah, weigh in on it, but I think that would be a fair compromise. It would be a pretty much permanent weed control. If you don't put a carrier in there for 8 years, there's no weeds, you take out that little 2
Yep.
inches, do your thing. and
Put some ag lime in there. Nothing
I mean,
wants
it
to
would-
grow in that.
It would just be an idea, that's all.
Okay.
Just an idea to move forward for everyone.
Minimize the grief.
And only the one side for the, you still want that, that drainage at the end?
I think it's a good idea,
Okay,
Yeah.
but just the one side?
yeah,
Okay,
the south
I
side.
think it also protects your slab from underwashing a little bit.
okay. Jamie, any other concerns?
Nope, none here.
Not yet.
So,
As much as I love coming here, I don't wanna have to come back.
You don't mean that.
I do, well, I wanna come back for vacation, is what I wanna do.
Stop.
we got new ordinance coming out about those Airbnbs too, so.
Well, who's gonna house me? I'll just book with, room with you guys.
We had a gazebo, but it's
One
gone.
minor thing on
Yes,
your
sir.
riprap detail is just make sure that there's a geotextile fabric underneath that riprap.
Okay,
That'll,
you got that, Jamie?
Yep, got it.
Okay.
All right, who's gonna put all this new information together for us, so it's, on our laptop in 2 weeks?
They're gonna do it.
Jamie, Katie.
Yeah, but we need
Right,
a number.
We'll get you a number.
Thank you.
So do we need to amend the lease, or do we need to just have a separate little maintenance agreement?
I'm gonna have to look at the document.
Okay.
I don't
And we
know.
need the twilight clause
Sitting
for
here.
completion.
Yeah, we need
So-
an out, termination,
Yeah.
amounts.
Well, if they're doing it, yeah, never mind,
That needs to be on paper.
yeah, never mind.
All right,
Jerry, we do have a gazebo out there now.
Oh, the gazebo?
It's in a different location.
I'm gonna have to look for it,
Okay.
because I haven't seen it.
any other questions?
So we could have all this done, and we could get this kind of buttoned up into 2 weeks?
Seems like it.
Is that what we're looking at?
That's the plan.
I need some nods. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'd like to see after, okay.
And we've already got, I don't know if you guys noticed that we got survey out there. We had, we're ready to go.
Sounds good to me. We're ready to go too, if you get that paperwork.
Bring you better coverage. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That'll get easier. Number 3, Lakeview Business Park, Lot 9, Brad Zadowski, 4021 167th Avenue, Lowell, Indiana, 46353. Owner Tammy Zatkowski, 3944 167th Avenue, Lowell, Indiana, 46353. Vicinity of 13721 Osborne Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioners requesting approval of site plan for new structure and occupancy for their modern heating and cooling business. Hi.
Good
Name and
evening.
address, please, for the record.
My name is James Huss with DVG Team in Crown Point, Indiana, 1155 Troutwine Road. Here with me tonight is Brad Zatowski he's a project manager for Modern Building Contractors. What's before you, hopefully in 2 weeks for approval, is work on Lakeview Business Park, Lot 9. It's at the southeast corner of Osborne Street and 137th Place. I believe you have select portions of the materials that we submitted with our site development application, but as we discussed, we were first before you in December. Modern Heating and Cooling is looking to relocate from Schererville, Indiana to Cedar Lake to this lot. They will occupy the northern half of the building, and the southern half of the building has office space that can be divided into thirds, and the remaining south half has 5 overhead doors that is divisible for up to 5 spaces. None of that space is currently leased. The final tenant count for that space is not known. It's envisioned maybe somebody would want to take 2 or even all 3 of those units, but it has the ability to be subdivided to that level. From the presentation before you in December, I'm happy to report that essentially nothing about the site or the presentation or the building has changed from what was before you then. Modern Heating and Cooling's operations fall implicitly within a number of approved uses within the PUD and the core B3 district that it's within. The development before you is free of any variances. This is just a site submittal. Lot 9 sits as it does today. So there's no plating function along with what we're petitioning, which was my prior development. On January 6th, we made a complete site development submittal to staff and engineering. We received comments on February 2nd, and originally I was going to report that we have them back to you, but we did make a resubmittal just this afternoon. I don't expect Engineer Sherry has had a chance to look at those, but I believe he'll find that everything is ordered and his comments were successfully addressed, but I will certainly let him verify that over the next couple weeks. At this time, obviously it's a work session. We're happy to answer any questions you have, but we do intend to hopefully be before you in 2 weeks for Modern to receive their approval, and then they're eager to move, I can tell you that. So I guess with that, I'll open up to questions.
Okay. Luke, do you have anything, or?
You know, it was a handful of minor things, as James mentioned on this one. The biggest thing that we were trying to get clarification on, and this was a conversation I had with the town public works staff, was just this whole notion of how many potential future tenants would be. Would this be a multi-tenant building? When we were looking at the MEP drawings for this, we saw, I think it was 8 prospective tenant spaces on the south side of the building. So we kind of scratched our heads and said, well, what the heck is this thing? Is this a single use? Is this going to be a landlord situation? So we're just trying to get a handle on how that would work with the utility connections. I do know you made a resubmittal. I didn't really have a chance to go into it, but I think you have a strategy.
Yeah, and I'll let Brad jump in if I misunderstand everything. Obviously, what would be a total of 9 taps, 1 for Modern and 1 for every tenant space, becomes a little cost prohibitive. Obviously, we'd love it if there could be a single meter to every unit. The compromise was that Modern will have their water service, and we'll call it the warehouse space, will have its water service, and the office space on the south will have its own water service. Now, in hopes of somebody leases out all the office space at once, that can be a bill that can be paid by that tenant. But if the 5, for example, let's say there were 5 tenants in the industrial areas, at that point, then Brad and Modern, being the building owner, they would then assume payment of that water bill for all the 5 spaces and roll it into the lease or rent payment from those tenant spaces. Because ultimately having that many water services is probably not desired, and the tap fees become a little cumbersome. That is the strategy for accounts for this building.
Question I have is, if you have 5 units and the water bill's $100, it's $20 each. But if you only rent 3 out, is that $100 divided by 3 then?
So we can actually get our own water meters and lease it that way.
Okay. It just come to mind, I figured, I'd be the guy that only has, I gotta pay a third instead of a fifth,
Yeah, but I know it was very clear direction from the town right off the bat that every water service must have its own
meter
shut off and meter. It's obviously doing 10 water services becomes a little, at that point, he'd rather take the burden on it.
That sounds like it'd work, yeah. Anything else, Luke, or?
No, honestly, it was pretty minor things. This one's in great shape. It was really just trying to get that whole, water and sewer question, some clarity on that.
Is the lighting correct now?
I believe it to be, yeah. We did not, Luke's comments were more inquisitive. He wanted to see a cut sheet on the pole to ensure we were below that 25-foot requirement. In the package we resubmitted it to demonstrate the intended pole and demonstrating that the lights will not be higher than 25 feet. That was the core of his comment.
Yeah, there was a couple comments, but as James mentioned, they were very minor.
It says the lighting levels were 3 times. Is that being corrected?
I think that was the other site. I think that was the other Lakeview that's on the agenda tonight.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, this one, there was no issues with the lighting levels off the bat. It was really, I think, just
Yep, you're right.
see with the foundation and the full height more than anything.
Tim, do you have anything?
No.
Any other questions, discussion, commissioners?
No, sir. No. There it is.
On this first picture right here, I see it says a gravel base pad. What does that mean?
Are you referring to the building drawings or?
Yeah.
Very first picture in the packet.
It's the FBI sheet, first sheet off the FBI drawing.
It's gonna have concrete
They start out with to build the building, Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there will, yeah,
Okay,
I think that's kind of a in construction drawing.
Okay.
The site will be 100% asphalted.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Sorry, not every inch of the property, but
All right.
All right, well, if there's no other discussion or questions, I guess we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 4, wedding development site plan. Owner petitioner, Kim Wedding, Wedding Development LLC, 15580 Hendrick Street, Lowell, Indiana, vicinity of 13791 Osborne Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting site plan approval for a single building on lot number 13 in Lakeview Business Park, commercial industrial building. Good evening.
Hello, Ryan Torringa with Torringa Engineering, 907 Ridge Road, Munster, Indiana. We have made several submissions over the recent weeks, with we hopefully the final one today addressing a few minor comments from Luke's regarding notes on the plans as far as the water is concerned, and ensuring that the sanitary inspection manuals for each of the connections are handled properly. We do believe that, we've been through it with Luke so that the site is designed properly. I know you made comments about the lighting just in the last discussion there, and our initial photometric plan, while we were hopeful of only having wall packs, turns out that unable to do so. So we have updated the lighting, and light poles have now been proposed in order to make sure that the lighting plan follows all Cedar Lake ordinances. I believe we are set. We have some plans that should be satisfactory for you and for Cedar Lake in order to allow the owners to develop the property.
Luke, do you have anything?
Not much. I mean, as Ryan mentioned, we had a handful of minor items. Really, the utility setup, nothing major. The lighting did get worked out. We had signed off on that already. They resubmitted this afternoon.
Yes.
Right? And I didn't look at it yet, but again, it was just a few, minor things. So, yeah, shouldn't be an issue to have everything buttoned up within, 2 weeks from now.
Tim, do you have anything?
Nope, I think it's, I think as long as Luke is good with them, the plans, we're good.
Commissioners, any questions, discussion?
On Luke's letter, I called him today. I didn't like the use of acronyms. I know what, Indiana Department of Environmental Management acronym is, but there were two, which Luke informed me that's rule number 5, but there was CSGP, I didn't know what that meant, and he said Construction Stormwater General Permit, and then I didn't know what SWPPP was, and he informed me that was Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. So he's going to, in the future, put them, instead of acronyms, put the actual words in there.
Okay.
I'll never make that mistake again.
Okay. He said it was an easy, question to answer when I called him today and asked him what those acronyms meant, because I had
That
no
was the only
clue.
easy one I got today, actually.
I would've Googled it. Any other questions or discussion?
No.
Well, it sounds like everything should be pretty good. See you in a couple weeks. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. New business, Diamond Peak, extension of, primary plat for Harvest Creek. Owner petitioner, Diamond Peak Home, 1313 White Hawk Drive, Crown Point, Indiana, 46307. Vicinity of 9210 West 155th, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Page. Petitioner is requesting to extend the primary plat for Harvest Creek. Hi.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Michael Herbers with Diamond Peak Group, 1313 White Hawk Drive in Crown Point. Here at the workshop this evening for an extension of our primary plat of Harvest Creek located at 155th and Parrish Avenue. This development was approved 3 years ago. Obviously, with the town's current constraints on infrastructure, we have not been able to get any of our NOI signed to start construction, so we are just here renewing our primary plat. Nothing has changed.
And that's notice of intent.
Yes, sir. Sorry, yeah, notice of intent. Threw me off now. But yeah, just here re-upping our primary plat. Nothing has changed since the original submittal and approval of this development.
This extension is for a year?
I believe so.
Can
Is that what we're doing for?
It can be.
You want a year?
Yeah, that'd be great. Again, we're kind of at the mercy of the town. We're ready to start doing something there as soon as.
We're working on it.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah,
That's why I say a year.
a year,
I'd
18
be
months,
in
2
favor
years,
of a
whatever
year.
you're comfortable with.
Any other questions or discussion?
No.
Okay, well, we'll see you in a couple weeks and
Perfect.
take care of that.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Number 2, municipal complex subdivision plat. Town of Cedar Lake, Police and Fire Department vicinity, 7228 Constitution Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Town of Cedar Lake is requesting a one-lot subdivision for the police and fire department. Question, the paperwork or letter I seen from Luke has 3 lots on there. And this is calling for a one-lot subdivision? Do we?
Well, it is to be consistent with all of your ordinances. You will have a primary structure and use on each of 2 lots, one being the police facility, the other being the fire facility. The 3rd lot would be the balance of the property for future or other use that town leadership deems appropriate at the time.
Right now, the third piece is parking?
It is, I believe it is.
Okay.
It's on the west side of the
Well,
fire station.
according to the diagram that Luke sent,
Parking or
lot-
is it for the future town hall?
Hang on, Chuck.
You pick them, Chuck.
lot
You pick
1
'em.
was the fire station, lot 2 was the police station, and lot 3 was the future town hall.
That was then with that group of legislators, and this is now. You can do what you want with it, really.
Well, I'm just saying,
By way
I
of
just went by
planning.
what information was sent to us.
Well, some of it's stale, Luke had some of it in his files. We talked in the last week about this, and, getting this property in legal condition, I guess, is what we're talking about.
Well, what we wanna do is make a one-lot subdivision for all three of
If
those.
you do, then you'll have multiple primary structures on a single zoning lot.
It's either a 3-lot or a 4-lot subdivision.
Well,
The way it should be is a 2. Each parcel, the police is on one, the fire's on another, and the remaining town hall parcel is a third. So it should be a re-subdivision of the whole lot into a re-subdivision into 2 parcels. Police, fire, and then existing town ground. Forget about that third one, because that was when the town hall was.
Gotcha.
Got it?
Two parcels, I just wanna know what we're going for.
It's a 2-lot,
I gotcha.
re-subdivision, 2 lots, yes,
Gotcha.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got any questions or comments or anything on this?
Yeah, it should be a 2-lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right, Chuck. You're absolutely right. So is this gonna be an agenda item until it's complete?
It's complete now, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I meant this stuff. Is this gonna be an agenda item until it's complete?
No, it's gonna be an agenda item until we make it a 2-lot subdivision.
Okay. Yeah, but I meant complete, all
Yeah.
cleaned up. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Okay. This is gonna be on the agenda until it's
should be.
ready to go? Okay.
right, and hopefully it'll be all cleaned up in 2 weeks.
Let's get past this so I don't burst into flames, okay?
Is that what I smell?
So, to be clear, there's 1 lot for the police and fire station.
1 lot for police, 1 lot for fire, because if you look at GIS now.
That's what I thought you said, but I'm just
Yeah,
clarifying.
just so we're clear, police is 1 building, 1 lot, fire's 1 building, 1 lot, the remainder of the grounds is the original whole piece.
Okay, so when you do that math, how is it a 2-lot subdivision?
It's a re-subdivision into 2 lots, the other 2.
Luke, you got that?
It's re-subdividing the whole main lot.
The third one's being consumed by the other 2?
No.
It's gonna remain a lot.
Remain the
So the plat is just going to consist of the
Just
fire
carving it up to
and
the
the police and fire
facility.
I
station,
got
that's it. Not the rest.
This
Fire,
lot,
and
this
then
lot
we
3.
still have the existing town, that doesn't go away. The existing town grounds does not go away. It's a re-subdivision, is it not?
It is.
No, it is, but I guess I would consider that a 3-lot
So
subdivision.
what is the engineering then, terminology for taking 1 big lot and now it's 3? 2 small ones, 1 still big one.
Re-subdivision.
Re-subdivision.
You wanna come up here and tell us what you want us to do?
I thought it was clear, we need the engineer to say.
That
how
can't be
it's
clear if you just get the damn piece of paper in the morning,
I
Yeah.
understand that.
you know, and on the piece of paper says 3 lots. You're saying 2, and then you're saying 3. Tell me what we're going to approve.
That's the part that needs to be cleaned up, is the erasure of that third that was gonna be the town hall.
So with that said, Luke, on our document, it says .584 acres is lot 3.
Mm-hmm.
That will not be its own lot.
Correct.
It'll flow back into the town grounds. So on our document, lot 3 should be omitted.
That's why this is at a work session to discuss all of this.
Yep, got it. Got it.
That's right, you got more to say, I want you to come up and tell us all.
I can do that.
So you know what's gonna have to happen.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead,
I get it.
go ahead, Chuck.
How do buildings get approved without being approved about a 2-lot subdivision where we require everyone else to get this stuff approved ahead of time? Here, we get the building put up before we put in the cart before the horse. But yet now, now it's already built. Now we have to make it right.
That's what,
How did it get bypassed through planning commission? And how do we prevent this happening in the future?
I guess your second statement is more important question than the first one.
Correct.
Okay, do we have any other comments or discussion here? If not, then I guess we can get all this, put together in proper terminology for 2 weeks and we can talk about it. Yes, Tim?
I got a quick question. Luke, did you adjust the lots to the current meets and bounds parcels, or, I mean, Don and I kind of did this back in the day when we were trying to get ready for a police and fire station. We kind of came up and we were just trying to do, there was talk of the town hall, so we were just trying to do it all in one swoop just to do it, but obviously that's gone. But I know that the current meets and bounds parcels didn't match the plat that we originally had. And is this the original plat or is this fixed?
No, I think this is another, like a second iteration of that plat, and I think they do match the meets and bounds.
Now, okay,
Yeah,
I know it was discussed.
Like if you, for instance, if you look at this, this distance here at the northeast corner, it's 271.82. I don't know if you can line that up with the drawing, but I think it matches if you were to look at all those distances and all that stuff.
So it was revised, that's why I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, I think that at some point, there was a iteration of it to update it.
So for the record, I get what Rich is saying, I guess the confusion is I would still consider this a 3-lot subdivision because lot 1 is the fire station, lot 2 is the police station, and lot 3 is the remainder of the town grounds. I guess if you only making 2 new lots, I don't know, I mean, it just seems to me like it's considered.
And that would.
Like at the end of the day, we're gonna have lot number 1, lot number 2, and lot number 3. So just for clarity, no town hall lot, 0 lot for a town hall.
So what will lot 3 be in acreage then? If we're gonna do it, we need to know the size of it, right? Well, we need a number though, right?
Well, you will, but the,
It'll all be on
meets and bounds will be used for the, legal that gets this thing started.
Okay.
So I'm still confused. You're gonna make 3 lots, but you're only gonna go for a 2-lot subdivision.
That's what I'm confused with also, John, that's why I was kind of clarifying. And I get what everybody is saying, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be 3 lots.
The remainder
However
is
you
the
wanna
third
call it.
lot.
I'm doing my best here, folks, but
I get it.
I only have one question because this topic does enrage me. But at the end of the day, the remainder, what you're calling the remainder, that's not still gonna be a meets and bounds parcel when we're done, correct?
Correct.
We're gonna
It's
fix
be
that
lot
while we're
3.
doing it.
That's why it's a 3-lot, yes, correct.
Okay, so then
That's what I'm
my
assuming.
Listen, it does not have to be. It's a meets and bounds description right now, and if you want it
If it's
to, you want it to flow back into the balance of the town hall parcel, you can.
Then it could just be a 2-lot subdivision and leaves the
That's
remainder out.
That's where I thought Rich was going.
Yeah,
And if
Is
you-
that where you were going with that, Rich, is leaving a meets and bounds parcel, the remainder?
The remainder.
That would be the cheaper thing to do.
And then one day,
Yeah, because that's gonna be tough.
council leadership will deal with it.
Section
Yeah.
it out from way back in
Okay.
22 or whenever that started.
So there is no lot 3 then? Okay, that's what I'm just wanting for clarification
Yeah.
for everybody, because we're like. So
Just
it's a
for
2-lot
shits and giggles,
two-lot
how did this happen
subdivision.
in the first place?
Chuck?
Chuck wants to know how this happened in the first place.
we all do.
Everyone else has to do it the right way, but the town doesn't.
The people that were sitting in your guys' spots then said it will be dealt with at a later time.
Yeah.
This
Here
is
we
a
are.
later time. It's a later time.
Here we are.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it, that's what I do.
So do we,
Chuck, don't answer.
Do as I
Don't,
say, that, do as I do. Okay?
so, we need an updated site plan here?
No, not yet.
We just need a preliminary plat.
Simple, waiving all the, stuff that's been built already.
All right, can we get the proper paperwork sent to us so we can look at it by next,
Yep.
plan commission meeting
That's,
with the correct terminology and space, whatever it's gonna be, so we're not looking at misleading.
I'm not certain it's misleading, John, it was just late.
Well,
It's misleading up here.
Oh, sorry about that.
once we get the proper paperwork, we can move forward. All right. All right, letters of credit. Cedarview Properties LLC performance letter of credit to expire in February 15, 2026, in the amount of $14,047. That's the Domino's property?
That's Domino's, yeah.
Yeah, that's good to let go?
They still have a few outstanding items, so I don't know if they renewed, I didn't see anything on the renewal, but the guy said he was gonna fix it, I just.
Has been,
Did we set a full date?
Cedarview Properties.
We did set a full date. He was going to, I think you guys gave him till February 7th, maybe?
Yeah, I thought we set a pull date, but I
We
couldn't
did
remember.
set, there was definitely one set, so, he knew the date, and I know the last I talked to him, he contracted, I know he talked to Luke, and he called his engineer to get those couple things cleaned up. I haven't heard from him since the day after the last
That was my
meeting.
question, yep.
I haven't heard anything. I know that the stop sign and pulling out of there has not been changed. And, I don't think you've received anything.
No, there was just a few signs, there were some handicap signs missing, I know, stop sign, and then an updated as-built, and
Monica had all those, you don't have that in the date, but I'm pretty sure this one had a February 7th date.
It sounds right.
can we have somebody check into that?
Yeah, we'll check in the morning and let you know, but we'll contact him also and see what his.
'Cause, yeah, we only got a couple days
If his
to,
intent is what it looks like, we'll let Mr. Auction know. Obviously, that date's approaching quickly, today's the 4th, right?
Yeah, I need to know ASAP.
Yeah.
they seem very adamant about the fact that to get it done,
It
so.
was minute, and I don't know what I know there was a couple comments left on the as-built. That he was working on, so.
If you check into that, I appreciate it, Tim, thanks.
Tim, do you know who's holding the, or who issued the letter of credit? Was it Peoples?
I don't think it's Peoples. Okay.
All right, we'll get it.
I remember seeing it, but it's been. You remember? There was a lot of them in the last.
Okay, we good?
I'm good.
All right, let's move on to public comment. Any public comment? Second call, public comment? Last call? Public comment is closed. We're adjourned.